Thank you, Eric. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. As Eric said, I'm Mario Rivera-Huguet. I'm head of the Science Innovation Network at the British government here in Canada. And I'm delighted to be today with you with such a wonderful group of experts from different backgrounds in AI. And I have to congratulate and celebrate this panel which celebrates equality and gender equality, where we have 3 ladies out of 4. So congratulations to your organization, because women in science and STEMs are very good. So, je souhaite tout d'abord souligner que la discussion sera en français et en anglais. So please don't hesitate to address your comments or inquiries to the panelists in either official language. Before introducing the panelists and starting the conversation, I think it wouldn't be necessary to acknowledge the inevitable technology and let alone AI changes in the future of work. We do need, however, to agree that multiple possible futures exist that depend on complex dynamics between contexts, choices, implementation and adoption, adaptability to new IT solutions and circumstances shaping the opportunities for individuals, firms, civil society, governments, and international organizations. There are also challenges and concerns, rising inequalities, the future of work, creating, and I think I lost the micro. Here we go, but maybe I'm too close. Sorry, maybe it's lack of experience with these things. Hardship faced by younger generations and the disfranchised and algorithm control in the workplace. As the future quickly becomes the present, there's an urgent need for a better understanding how IT and AI solutions can hopefully make our new world of work sustainable, equitable, and just. In today's panel, we will address some of the most present opportunities and challenges faced by you, the businesses, and hopefully provide you with the key points or tools to deploy in your businesses. I would like to kick off this activity introducing this amazing group of experts working on AI-related activities. So, without any order, I would like to start with Pernelle, who works as project leader and artificial intelligence international organizations at Montreal International. Karolina leads the World Organization for AI, and before joining Montreal International, she was the director of IVADO, l'Institut de Valorisation des Données. That's right, yeah. Partnership, yeah. So and she was director of partnership, yeah. Thank you. Julie Hubert. It's funny because the way that I put it is like the way that you're sitting. Julie Hubert, she's president and co-founder of Workland, a fast-growing, privately owned company specializing in recruitment technologies, solutions, and services. Julie is also an active blogger, speaker, mentor, and influencer, focused on business topics related to entrepreneurship, artificial intelligence, and recruitment, and HR. Karolina Bessega is Chief Scientific Officer and co-founder at Strategy AI. Karolina combines an entrepreneurial mindset alongside more than 20 years of experience in research, development, and broad programming. Her extensive experience working on AI allows her to work alongside renowned advisors and business pioneers in the industry to continuously create, innovate, and develop new technologies that solve real-world problems. As Eric said, we all regret Jesse's sickness, and we would like to welcome Gabriel Garcia-Curiel, who I'm afraid I don't have much information about your background, but I'm pretty sure that he will let you know. So I would like to give a warm welcome to the 4 panelists, and I may ask you to briefly tell you, the audience, what is your role in your organization. So, Gabriel, you have the opportunity to describe your bio and say what are you doing, and how it links to today's panels, meaning what is your role in the organization and how it relates to AI. So, Karolina, si tu veux commencer, either in English or French, so please be free.
Ok, donc bonjour, donc moi c'est Caroline Pernelle, merci Mario pour la présentation. Donc mon rôle avant, c'était vraiment de connecter les industriels en fait et les chercheurs dans le domaine de l'intelligence artificielle. Donc on parlait beaucoup de data science chez Ivado, parce que c'était l'Institut de valorisation des données. C'était vraiment s'assurer que finalement les chercheurs pouvaient travailler sur des cas d'utilisation appliqués qui étaient pertinents dans le contexte des industriels, et inversement que les industriels puissent avoir des use cases qui soient facilités par l'accès aux chercheurs dans le milieu universitaire. Donc on parlait de HEC, Polytechnique, l'Université de Montréal, McGill, l'Université d'Alberta, et on en a ajouté beaucoup d'autres, puisque définitivement les spécialistes, on n'en a pas tant que ça dans le monde. Donc comment est-ce qu'on pouvait faire pour s'assurer qu'au niveau du Canada, on soit très efficace par rapport à ça? Le nouveau rôle chez Montréal International, c'est vraiment en fait de mettre sur place une organisation mondiale de l'intelligence artificielle. Pourquoi? Parce qu'on croit tous aujourd'hui que définitivement l'intelligence artificielle va faire beaucoup de choses pour le monde, mais est-ce qu'on doit définir des cadres? Est-ce qu'on doit définir des normes? De plus en plus, on voit beaucoup d'industriels, de grands industriels, notamment dans les GAFA, donc les Google, Amazon, Facebook et Apple, qui sont en train de se poser la question, savoir est-ce qu'on devrait mettre des normes comme des GDPR comme il y a en Europe? Est-ce qu'on devrait le faire arriver en Amérique du Nord? Est-ce qu'on devrait le faire arriver aux États-Unis? Donc ce genre de questions-là est en train de se poser, et l'objectif de l'organisation mondiale finalement est de rassembler les experts de ce monde pour pouvoir faire arriver ce projet-là.
Merci beaucoup.
Donc, bon après-midi tout le monde. Julie Hubert, fondatrice et présidente de Workland. J'amène une perspective un petit peu différente. En 2011, quand j'ai parti mon entreprise spécialisée en ressources humaines et en informatique, je venais du domaine du marketing. Donc, je n'étais pas une scientifique, je n'avais pas de formation en algorithme ou en AI ou en machine learning. Donc, je pense qu'aujourd'hui, je gère une entreprise qui développe des technologies très avancées dans les ressources humaines. Je prouve qu'on peut partir de n'importe quel point de départ puis se lancer dans l'intelligence artificielle. Je prouve aussi, parce que c'est un enjeu de société, mais là, on est un panel qu'on est beaucoup plus de femmes que d'hommes, mais souvent, l'enjeu, c'est d'encourager des femmes à sauter dans le mouvement puis à s'impliquer dans l'intelligence artificielle. Donc, j'aime beaucoup pousser ces deux volets-là puis montrer que c'est possible. Donc, quand on est parti en 2011 pour lancer la plateforme qui visait vraiment à automatiser la connexion entre les candidats, les chercheurs d'emploi et les entreprises, puis amener beaucoup plus d'efficacité dans le match entre les parties. On ne parlait pas du tout d'intelligence artificielle, c'était des algorithmes qu'on parlait dans ce temps-là. Et le mouvement qu'on voit actuellement, l'intelligence artificielle a toujours été là, mais disons qu'on en parlait beaucoup moins dans les années antérieures. Donc, aujourd'hui, on est une entreprise qui a développé un système informatique complet qui, justement, utilise l'intelligence artificielle pour modéliser le processus décisionnel du recruteur. Ça soulève toutes sortes d'enjeux, toutes sortes de questionnements, non seulement dans notre industrie, mais dans toutes les industries. Finalement, si on vient programmer des machines à exécuter des processus humains, puis qu'on les rend performants, mais il faut juste faire attention comment on programme une machine, surtout si la machine, via le machine learning, va apprendre à devenir de plus en plus performant. Donc, nous, à l'intérieur de Workland, on pousse beaucoup ce volet-là pour s'assurer que dans notre méthode d'automatisation de processus décisionnel humain, qu'on intègre des bonnes pratiques puis qu'on s'assure de rester inclusif, parce que c'est un des enjeux majeurs du recrutement. On en parlera un petit peu plus longtemps, mais nous, on est vraiment en développant des solutions informatiques pour les entreprises. On les accompagne, on voit les enjeux, on voit la difficulté d'intégrer certaines technologies, la réfraction au changement à l'intérieur des organisations, le temps ressources et les implications des entreprises au niveau temps, au niveau financier. Donc, c'est vraiment cette perspective-là que je vais amener aujourd'hui pour conseiller les entreprises à comment mieux s'outiller pour le futur.
Merci, Julie. Karolina.
Okay, so I'm Karolina. I'm the Chief Scientific Officer of Strategy AI, and what I do there is I help innovating and creating different AI technologies to solve real world problems. So we have, basically what we have is that we have clients from different industries that have different kind of problems, and we analyze them, we break them down in objectives that we can solve using AI. And our team of researchers, so I manage a team, we're around 30 researchers who build solutions. Lately, I have been, in fact, the company has been developing a platform that allows us to do this faster instead of being like a big unknown of do research and don't know where you go. Right now, part of the fun I'm having every day is in the building of this system that will allow us to solve complex AI problems in a fraction of the time. So my background, I did my PhD like 20 years ago in astrophysics, and from there it's beautiful astrophysics. And from there I started doing machine learning in 2002. I was professor at the university in Venezuela, that's my original country. And since I'm in Canada, since 9 years ago, I have been working in the software industry. So that's.
Thank you. Gabriel, please give us some bio. Huh?
Yeah,
Hi, Gabriel Garcia-Curiel. So I'm filling in for Jesse today, and I represent MyTax. For those of you who don't know, we are a not-for-profit organization. We were funded about 20 years ago. We're directly financed at the provincial levels and also at the federal level by ISED. And what we do is we actively encourage companies to deal and interact with academia. So there's a lot of great research going on in Canadian universities. We have world-class research happening. And Canada historically was a bit of a lagger in monetizing, if you allow me to use the expression, some of the technologies that were developed in Canadian universities. And so 20 years ago, we started really pushing companies and saying, you know, engage universities, there's some good research happening there, and there might be something for you to profit from. So what we do, we're about 200 across Canada. We cover coast to coast. We have I'd say a fairly large business development team. The way that it's structured is that we've got people based out of every university across Canada. So there's a MyTax person in the university who basically, their job is to know what is the research landscape, know the university, know the professors. And there's a second layer, and this is where I fit in. And I'm filling in for Jesse, who's now our VP of Business Development, but we have an account managers, so we are strictly industry facing. And both of these aspects of MyTax, what we do is we kind of help both sides to collaborate together. In terms of the companies that we help, we really cover everything. We work with multinational companies, small, medium enterprises. Me personally, I have some major accounts, some small, medium enterprises, and I'm also helping 2 guys in a WeWork as well. So we really cover everything. And where artificial intelligence comes in here is that it has become over the years, over the last few years, it's become a very, very important topic for a lot of companies. And what they've been, I don't want to say forced to do, but what many companies have found out was very useful to do is link themselves up with universities. We have funding programs as well. We typically will cover half the cost of a research project. And so for any company, regardless of the size, and this is sort of the message that I want to bring, and especially in artificial intelligence. If you look at traditional R&D, right, like you've got the R portion of it, and most companies have got kind of a list or ledger of like good ideas that might be risky putting energy into or funds into, because sometimes it can lead to a dead end. If you do it too many often, it can spell the doom of your company. So we're basically there to de-risk that. We help manage relationships between academics, companies of all sizes across all Canada. So you in a company, I'm working with some startups here who are dealing in artificial intelligence, or some companies that are just getting started with artificial intelligence, and we're linking them with researchers not only here in Montreal, which is fantastic landscape, but also across Canada as well. So that's it. My personal background, I've got a master's in thermodynamic simulation. So when Joel showed a formula for entropy, that was like the highlight of my day. And I used to be an R&D director at a clean tech before. So, some of the achievements I guess I had in my old position was we leveraged $1.3 million of financing through some funding programs. So I kind of know the landscape pretty well. And now I'm on the side of MyTax, helping companies navigate what's available and, how can we use, because there's a lot of great programs right now throughout Canada. How can we use some of these programs to engage academics, especially in the realm of artificial intelligence, and help them navigate through those programs, leverage their cash, leverage their teams?
Thank you, Gabriel. So I cannot congratulate enough the organizers for such a wonderful panel. So I will let you know how is the structure of this panel. Don't be shy. There is a micro there. We have some questions with the panelists, and then we try to engage with you through the whole, 60 minutes that we have left. Please, when you approach the micro, say your name, which is the company that you're working for. So to kick off, and without any competition with Joel's talk about AI, aujourd'hui, l'intelligence artificielle, c'est l'un des mots les plus à la mode dans le monde des affaires de l'industrie. L'intelligence artificielle est l'un des piliers de la transformation numérique en cours aujourd'hui. Mais personnellement, j'ai besoin d'un cours 101 en intelligence artificielle. Qu'est-ce que l'intelligence artificielle? I know that the term artificial intelligence has been around since the 50s, but a lot has changed since then. Could Karolina, I need a short update, and as I say, without competing with Joel's presentation on AI, I showed another update, like kind of a AI for dummies. I call myself dummy on AI. I'm not an expert in the field, so please bear with me. How are you briefly describe AI and how we already using AI? Can you give us some, or the whole panel, and then you, if you would like to add some comments as well.
Yes, so I'm going to keep this short because I could talk about this for hours. But artificial intelligence, as Marius said, has been here since 1956, and is an area of computer science that basically create algorithms that are able to do tasks that usually humans do. And that doesn't say much, to be honest. So it's true. And up to the 80s, what we understood as artificial intelligence was mainly what was called expert systems. Expert systems is when an expert, a human being, explain a set of rules to the machine, and the machine, somebody programmed all these rules there, and now the machine is able to take decisions based on that intelligence that we transfer from the human to the machine. That, as you can imagine, is not very useful. The main reason is because it's not maintainable. Rules change with time. That you need, again, to call the human needs to tell the rules to the programmer needs to change the software, and all of you are in the IT world, and you know that that cycle can be too long. So that really brought AI to like a dark zone, like a winter. Since the 80s, start a new area, a new approach of AI called machine learning. So when we talk about machine learning is within AI. So inside AI, we have an approach that is machine learning, that now you don't need anymore those humans to explain the rules. Now you are going to train your computer, your algorithm is going to be able to extract patterns from data. Now you need to feed a lot of data to this machine. And in the classical machine learning approach, this data that you need to give to the machine need to be quite structured. What that means, and for me, the way I explain to everybody what means structured data is something that you can put in an Excel file. You have columns of data, of numbers, and with that is what we call the features. You give that to the machine is able to extract patterns in different ways. We have different ways of learning. Now, most recently, what has been really much more interesting and what has been creating this AI boom is that inside machine learning, there is an area that is called deep learning. So deep learning is based in something called neural network that is very vaguely related with the way that your brain works. Let's say that there are neurons and there are synaptic relationship between those neurons. But what is important for this audience is that deep learning is very good at understanding unstructured data. For example, what is unstructured data? Are things that you cannot put in that Excel file. For example, a picture, a video, a big, long text. So deep learning, what it does, so imagine it's like your brain. You have a lot of neurons, you have layers of these neurons, and you are going to enter information that is going to pass, and it's going to learn. I'm not going to enter in how it learns, but it's going to learn. And each one of these layers are going to represent this image, or imagine I'm passing an image, it's going to be representing it in a way that is more understandable to solve that problem that you have. So it's learning different ways to represent that image that you initially have like a square that you don't know what is important in there. So for example, if I want to classify dogs and cats, what I'm going to do in this simple example is I'm going to be showing to the machine a bunch of images on dogs, a bunch of images of cats. I'm going to tell, this is called supervised learning. I'm going to tell at the end what it was. And the machine is going to start learning, these things that, I don't know, that are always like gray and has that point ears, things that are cats. And these other things that have this other, the tail is long, no, shorter maybe, I don't know. It's a dog. Well, you know, I don't even know. But this is what the machine does. So me as a human, I'm very bad to, if I need to describe you the difference between a dog and a cat, I don't know. But my brain is able to understand what are the main components of that dog to make it a dog or that cat to make it a cat. So that's what deep learning does. Deep learning, with all these layers of neurons, learn to extract features that are important to say if this is a dog or is a cat. And there's much other types of learning, but what is important right now from this topic is that artificial intelligence is computer science to do things that humans always do. Machine learning learns from data and is inside artificial intelligence, and deep learning not only learns from data, but is able to learn from unstructured and structured data. So now we have something very solid that is able to help us solve a lot of problems. That's basically it.
That's a wonderful explanation.
Oh my God.
I remember that the gentleman here in the front seat also asked Joel about AI, so maybe we can follow that conversation at the networking event with a glass of wine or two, or maybe three, and then have another level of conversation. So my take, what I'm taking away from your speech, Karolina, is that the oil of tomorrow will be data, so we need data for AI. So I wasn't being rude, I was trying to get today's information about AI. I'm not sure if you got it, but please let me read it briefly for you. China's state new agency, Xinhua, introduced the newest member for its newsroom, AI anchors who will be report every single day from anywhere in the country. So Julie, do you think that then recruitment and HR will be heavily impacted by AI? How is the impact on your field? Yeah. It's not a question, actually it's the news from today, is that the China got AI news person is kind of a robot, so it's not a person. So what I'm...
C'est un présenteur télé en fait qui est complètement automatisé en fait au travers de à la fois la voix qui est en fait une empreinte vocale qui est prise d'un présentateur réel, mais aussi son visage, la façon dont le visage fonctionne, tout est en fait finalement créé par intelligence artificielle. Donc c'est vraiment dans les nouvelles aujourd'hui, regardez ce soir, c'est super impressionnant.
Merci. Julie, so...
Yes. I think that right now, in my humble perspective, and my perspective comes not only, again, as a company who develops AI-based software, but also who accompanies both candidates looking for jobs and companies. We're a little bit in a chaos right now, so technology's coming in, the receivers of the technology are just getting used to it, and at the same time as they're getting used to it, there's more technologies that are pushing. So right now, today, things are changing, but not that much. I think down the road, in just a few years, everything's going to change. That's why it's so important to take part in the change today and not wait for the change to hit us down the line. There's a lot of positive things that are going to happen down the road. I think in just, again, a couple years ahead, it will be very easy for candidates from all over the world to connect to job opportunities, the right ones, efficiently. So the mobility of the workforce, I think that's definitely going to be helped through AI and all the deep learning applications that are coming down. But what's really, really, again, challenging and at the same time a great opportunity is that they are anticipating that about 40% of the jobs that we know today will be automated. So the jobs that are highly repetitive, that are in predictive environment, all these things that are actually being done by humans today will be automated. And so, what's going to happen with the workforce that's been training all these years, have been doing the same jobs, and, what are we going to do? And it's not about a couple people being displaced, it's about like hundreds of thousands of people displaced. And what's even more challenging is that the jobs of tomorrow, a lot of them, we don't know what they are today because they're going to be created through the technology, through the change. So again, change is good, and change brings both opportunity and challenges. And I think, again, we need to, even if it's messy and it's not that easy to get on board, and it's challenging and it's chaotic, we need to get into being part of tomorrow instead of letting tomorrow hit us a little bit later down the road. Another thing that I do want to mention, which comes from deep learning and which will have a huge effect, is how deep learning will affect industries that are very, very sensitive. So if I apply deep learning issues to recruitment, so if I'm, as a company working on a software to automate the decision-making of a recruiter, a human recruiter, which at the base, I'm going to say it openly, humans are biased at nature. And even if the recruiter, even if it's not conscious, there's always a certain level of biases that comes into the equation. So if we program a machine to replicate a model that is biased and is able to learn to be better and better at it, then you would be cutting out different cultures, people with the older people, younger people. And that's why we have to be very, very careful, as today we're programming tomorrow's world, and we need to have a diversity of people that are sitting down, thinking about the issues, and at one point, I think also, organizations that will be, implementing some rules of conduct around very sensitive domains like work, because, honestly, we are the jobs that we have, and our lifestyles and our kids' lifestyles depend on the jobs we have. So, definitely lots of questions, and, in my humble perspective, there's really a lot of exciting stuff, challenges, but, that is all part of change.
Very interesting. Is there any questions that you'd like to? Please, go ahead. The micro is all yours. If you can say your name and your affiliation, please.
Yes, my name is Mauricio Mesa. I work as a senior business analyst for Medtronic. My question was for Julie, although she partly stole it by addressing the biases. But we are all juggling in adapting. So it's a two-pronged question on the same thing. What is your recommendation for some of us which are already like at certain stage in which in those 5 years might be more towards thinking about retirement? Yeah, and juggling that change. And at the same time, for all those innovating, startups, their approach to on the new recruitment and defining that workforce.
So if I understand your first part of the question, how does the older demographic adapt to a world that's changing very fast?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to answer that one, hey, we are in a job shortage situation. Everybody's recruiting. talent is not there. Again, we have a connection problem because I think the biggest problem is that there's all these jobs out there and there's this issue putting people together, the right people together at the right time. I think in just a couple of years ahead, and we as a company are working hard to be able to make that connection and that match, I think that's going to solve a lot of the issue. And, you know, by connecting people together, I think the older demographic, the younger ones, and just people that have just a little bit more issues today, I think that's going to be facilitating a lot. And, you know, I wouldn't forget about retirement. Again, with the job shortage, with all the challenges ahead, you're going to need different perspective, and you're going to need to have experienced people in positions bringing that expertise, because, you know, if machines are there, they're invented to replace people and experience and expertise. You need to feed it data, expertise. And so I really think tomorrow's recruitment and work world will be much more inclusive than it is today. And companies are just starting to suffer from the shortage, but it's just going to get worse and worse. And so I think I'm very positive on that outlook. And just to make sure, your second question is, how do young startups recruit?
Well, yeah, how they will adapt into all this balancing from not even having I'm creating a job that I didn't know, to matching to a profile that I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I think, you know, I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't even say what the future is. But it's always, I think it's a great world. Again, I'm very positive in nature. I like to see the good side of things. Startups are going to have a lot more opportunity to recruit in the future. Already they are, and they're battling, you know, the smaller organizations versus the very large ones who have the budgets, the high-end jobs, the expense reports. I think tomorrow's generation are looking for much more than salary condition and what the big companies. And again, there's people that will fit into both contexts. As of today, there's a lot of solutions for the startups with little cash or less resources to recruit. Lots of platforms, lots of ways to connect to the talent. There's still no magic formula. There's no magic way to make the perfect candidate appear. But one of the tricks that I do is I always am on the lookout for talent. So even if let's say I have a sales position, I may not urgently need a sales position, but I'll have a posting, and if I find that person, you know, it might create an opening. So it's to be, and I think this goes for small or larger companies, it's really to not look at recruitment as an urgent, oh my God, I need someone now, but more being proactive, looking at the year to come. And actually, recruitment plans should be, especially in tomorrow's world, you know, in a couple years plan, and with the latitude to adapt as we see these different types of positions come, you know, kind of pop up from nowhere. So again, there's no magic formula, and in any change, important changes as we're living today, it's just, you know, testing and doing little steps today and making sure that we're okay to change the course should things change in the future. You're welcome.
I think the question from the floor, no, I would like to have the opinion of the three panelists. So, s'il vous plaît, Caroline, I think what your experience with Ivado, which is a perfect match between academia and industry, as well as MyTax and strategy, I could have a lot to say to the gentleman's question.
En fait, c'est ça, c'est pour faire un petit peu un mix de cette question-là et puis de ta question, Mario. Il y a une des choses que les compagnies ont vraiment tendance à oublier aujourd'hui, ça s'appelle la loi du 1%. Les formations. C'est quelque chose de très très important, et regardez le nombre de compagnies qui n'investissent pas, qui préfèrent payer des pénalités plutôt que d'investir dans leurs employés. Ça, c'est quelque chose qui fait très mal au Canada en ce moment. Parce que de plus en plus, les formations, il y en a. Il y a énormément de compagnies qui sont en train de se mettre à jour, que ce soit des Ivado de ce monde ou que ce soit des compagnies privées. On essaye de faire ça, et puis on essaye de faire ça accessible. Une formation en machine learning ou en deep learning chez Ivado, c'est $500 pour une semaine. Personne n'est au courant, puis le 1%, on ne le rentre pas dedans, là. Mais par contre, c'est sûr que c'est 350 personnes qui y vont à chaque fois. On en est déjà à la 3e séance qui a été remplie, et on en fait 2 par année. On avait prévu le budget pour en faire 1 par année, on continue à en faire plus que ça. Donc définitivement se former, se tenir à jour, comprendre quelles sont les nouvelles technologies. Vous êtes à une conférence aujourd'hui pour comprendre un petit peu qu'est-ce qui se passe, c'est un premier pas, mais définitivement voir comment est-ce que vous pouvez amener votre skill set à un autre niveau. Une des raisons, c'est qu'on parle beaucoup, puis là, il y a eu une question ce matin qui était par rapport à ça, les data scientists, c'est à la mode, c'est un buzzword aujourd'hui, mais les data scientists, on s'entend que s'ils n'ont pas d'expérience métier, ceux qui sortent de l'école, il faut un temps de rodage pour pouvoir commencer à comprendre qu'est-ce que la compagnie est en train de faire. Et donc cette expérience métier-là que beaucoup de personnes ont, elles ont beau pas savoir comment est-ce qu'on applique un modèle de machine learning, ça s'apprend en 6 mois, ça s'apprend en 8 mois. Si vous voulez faire une maîtrise accélérée, en ce moment, au Milan, on prévoit de faire ça en moins de 18 mois avec un cours en entreprise, un stage obligatoire. Donc vraiment, ce genre de formations-là sont rendues de plus en plus accessibles pour que la workforce d'aujourd'hui puisse se mettre à jour. Puis oui, avec Ivado, on parlait énormément de formation, donc que ce soit machine learning, deep learning dans le domaine de la santé. Là, on est en train de préparer un cours pour tout ce qui est les moteurs de recommandation, parce qu'on sait que c'est des technologies aujourd'hui qui existent. Donc on veut voir comment est-ce que chacun puisse l'appliquer à son domaine. On a fait quelque chose aussi sur les chatbots. Et là, on vient de lancer, en fait, c'est tout nouveau, l'idée d'une école internationale qui va se créer au mois de juin sur justement comprendre les biais dans les algorithmes. Donc ce sera une semaine internationale, donc elle sera en anglais pour pouvoir faciliter vraiment ce genre de discussion et puis de compréhension, parce qu'aujourd'hui tout le monde en parle mais personne ne fait rien. Donc ça c'était la partie Ivado. La partie recherche, on voit qu'on a besoin de monde définitivement, puis la question c'est de savoir est-ce qu'on a besoin de quelqu'un tout le temps? Pas nécessairement, on peut avoir des besoins ponctuels, d'où l'idée justement de faire des MyTax, de faire des stages pour pouvoir commencer à démarrer, commencer à former les personnes sur le side. Avoir un étudiant chez vous avec un chercheur qui sont là pendant 6 mois, 12 mois, 18 mois, ça permet de faire du transfert de connaissances qui est très très pertinent et qui finalement ne coûte pas si cher que ça quand on regarde tous les crédits R&D et autres montages financiers qui peuvent exister. Donc c'est là que ça peut devenir super intéressant justement de faire appel au monde académique pour ce genre de programmes ou de projets que vous pouvez avoir. Et surtout, Gabriel t'en parlait, de limiter le risque des projets d'intelligence artificielle. Parce que ce qu'on voit aujourd'hui, c'est qu'il y a beaucoup de compagnies qui n'osent pas se lancer dans ce domaine-là parce que ça risque de coûter quelque chose, ça risque d'avoir un impact sur la compagnie et il y en a beaucoup qui sont beaucoup trop limites pour pouvoir oser. Donc aujourd'hui, le gouvernement met beaucoup d'argent à disposition. Il faut savoir que l'argent est là, mais on peut s'en servir. Et puis, je voulais juste revenir par rapport au point de Karolina. Si le deep learning aujourd'hui existe et si à chaque fois on vous parle de chat, c'est la faute à YouTube. Pourquoi ? Parce qu'il y a tellement de vidéos et de photos de chats qui sont accessibles sur le web que pour les chercheurs, c'est tout bénef, c'est gratuit, c'est accessible. Donc c'était mon point sur le big data. Pourquoi est-ce qu'on en parle aujourd'hui ? Pourquoi est-ce qu'on vous parle de vidéos de chats ?
Gabriel, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. So if I can come back to the first part of your question, like what do we older folk do in front of artificial intelligence? So on a daily basis, I work with a lot of companies. Probably you guys saw this. There was like this article on LinkedIn that was circulating saying like the average age of a successful entrepreneur was like 45 or something, between 45 and 50. It comes down to something, and by working with a lot of startups, there's something to keep in mind. There are very few, I would say, startups that are doing artificial intelligence for the sake, just purely of artificial intelligence. Keep in mind that it's usually applied within a context, within an industry. Whether it's financial, marketing, medical, media, industry 4.0, law, accounting, there's usually a context. And if you're an industry expert, like you know your industry well, you know how your company's running, then there should really be no reason for you to be afraid of it. I think the one important thing is to see artificial intelligence as this new tool that has arrived that can do wonderful things. There's still a lot of unknowns, but just a good place to start is just educate yourself, whether it's taking a master course or a class at Ivado or even going to YouTube University for like 2 hours before going to bed, for a week. There's different levels of engagement that you can have, and some of the startups that I help who have gotten into artificial intelligence, the leaders of these startups, they have no background in artificial intelligence, but they're able to understand what what are the important stakes within the industry that they're operating in. In Canada, we have, and I also see a lot of startups that are doing really funky things, really amazing, but then there's really the business side of it is kind of, it's a little bit harder to justify. They sometimes have this build it and they will come approach, and it doesn't work. And some of the best startups that I've seen, the most successful ones, have been the one that have had the industry-facing support and understanding. The co-founders or managers that have rushed themselves to understand at least the basic concepts of what artificial intelligence can or cannot do at this moment, and basically manage expectations from it as well. And be able to guide it as these types of technologies get developed within their companies, and saying, okay, well, does this really make sense from a business standpoint, and keep basically an outlook on that.
I know, yeah, just before you, Karolina, I know that MyTax have some programs that can help small companies to provide training. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
So, put it very simply, MyTax, we work in small blocks of research. So, like, the smallest project that a company can do is like 4 to 6 months. One researcher working on one topic. It costs the company $7,500. We actually we match that dollar, and the student gets $15,000. They're an academic student. The reason why government is supporting us is that, well, it helps grad students get into the industry. And a funny story is that, well, maybe not, but 20 years ago, when MyTax started, we were focusing on mathematics and data scientists, because at the time, 20 years ago, people didn't know what to do with these people, and they would go on to be managers at Staples. And it was or they would be recruited by companies in the U.S., and it was a terrible waste. So what we do is we help push these students, these researchers, into the company, and it's very low engagement, very minimal risk. You don't have to hire anyone. They're still a registered student who are simply doing an academic internship. One of the easy ways of starting is, if you've got data, just have someone come in. They could do like a literature review, clean up your data, like denoise the data, help structure it, see what is there to be gotten out of it. This is very minimal risk for the company. You can have a student coming in $7,500 with the help of an academic supervisor who's got knowledge of your industry or of artificial intelligence, and can supervise the researcher as well. I didn't mention it, but within MyTax or programs, the researcher actually works at the company. So this is what differentiates us from other sources of research funding. So the researcher will actually go and work from your company. MyTax has been especially has focused heavily on artificial intelligence because of one aspect that we cover, and is since we allow for researchers to go and work with you at your site, we've been able to create synergies that otherwise were difficult to have. So we're helping companies in the medical sector right now, and talking about jobs and competencies. Someone says, well, okay, I need somebody who's an expert in AI and in MRIs and in tumor growth. You're not going to find it. Like, that person does not exist. Two approaches to it: go get them at the university, build a project, and then they're going to get trained, coming, leveraged cash, minimized risk. They're going to basically, this is a way to create that job, to create that set of expertise. The other aspect of it is, if it's too hard to find, get 3 people who know they're each experts in their own area, sit them side by side, and start creating synergies, right? And then now you start developing, you start getting into uncharted territory, which is essentially, the groundwork for the future.
Thank you. Karolina, what is your take?
Okay, so I'm going to talk from the point of view of our own experience. So the company where I work, we were a software development company. We were not doing AI. And in 2014, we got a project that required AI. I was there, I knew AI, so we started working on that. So, but from there, the journey, these 4 years, we have seen this transformation within the company that you are talking about, and some people might be afraid. And I have to say, first, I want to say that the first person we hired was through MyTax. So it's really useful, works very well. These PhD students are really good and are capable to help you. But we continue growing, and we start seeing 2 things. First, part of the people we had already working with us in the software development. Now when we pivot to AI, we needed to change them a little bit. We needed to train them in something different. For example, and I'm not talking about developers necessarily. I'm not talking necessarily only in convert somebody, a backend developer in a data science. No, I'm talking about project managers, for example. They needed to learn about, okay, what means AI, how an AI project is different from a software development. Also, a code managers. All the company needs a transformation, and you only find that through education, to training. So it's very important for companies to think in your employees and give them the right tools. Don't hire new people and let the old people die there. No. No, it's true. It's true. You need to put everybody up to speed, and you need to involve them in the new way the company is doing things. The other thing is related with what Julia was saying, the creation of new jobs. Happen to be often that I tell to our talent management, I need somebody to do this, this, and this. And she say, okay, what is that role? I don't know the name. I need this thing. So I need somebody with these skills. So what I'm seeing is that it appears a lot of new roles that I don't know the names, doesn't have a standard name. And if you check, even you go to any of these places to find jobs, and you try to find what is a data scientist or a machine learning engineer and AI developer, you find that all these job descriptions are one completely different to the other, and what sometimes is called a data scientist is a researcher in other times. So right now we're in this transformation, and as she says, it's a little chaotic right now. But we're adapting to it, and I'm sure that in a few years we're going to say, okay, finally we understand. The last thing I want to say is that if you're going to start doing a project in artificial intelligence, you not always need a PhD to do the project. So there are certain things in AI, in machine learning, that you can do with somebody coming out maybe from one of these new masters that Mila has. So or maybe a very skilled software engineer, a smart guy, he can take some courses in machine learning and be able to use the tools and develop some models. So it depends on how complex is your problem. If your problem is completely innovative, it's different, it's something that nobody else has done before, yes, probably you need research. But if it's something like classify the dogs and cats, right now those libraries and those tools exist out there. And with a training that maybe is not that long, like having a PhD, you can put your employees up to speed to do that.
I think Karolina was to add something more.
Ce que mentionne Karolina, ce qui est très bien, c'est la gestion du changement. Et ça, c'est très très important au sein des compagnies aujourd'hui. Parce qu'on le voit énormément où finalement les compagnies veulent embaucher des data scientists, ce qu'on appelle les magnifiques chasses à la licorne aujourd'hui, où on cherche des gens qui savent c'est quoi la machine computer, le machine vision, le MRI et autres, et qui sont dans une personne, et si possible, qui savent faire fonctionner l'imprimante et la machine à café. Donc c'est ce genre de choses-là, de profils qu'on voit aujourd'hui. Et l'exemple typique, c'était le Chief AI Officer. Est-ce qu'il y a des gens d'Air Canada dans la salle? Je veux assez personne aujourd'hui, mais le Chief AI Officer poste qui était annoncé par Air Canada avec 50 ans d'expérience et qui finalement était dans la catégorie IT à la fin, je m'excuse, mais c'est impossible de le trouver, cette personne-là. Il n'existe pas, c'est pas possible. Mais il y a vraiment un mindset à mettre en place, et cette gestion du changement, elle est très très importante, et on la voit pas aujourd'hui, ou très peu, dans les jeunes compagnies qui arrivent et qui comprennent vraiment. Mais je peux juste vous donner un exemple à quel point on n'est encore pas mature. Depuis très peu, je suis consultante, et donc là, je me dis, ok, je vais regarder pour une assurance invalidité ou autre, parce qu'on ne sait jamais. Donc là, j'appelle le monsieur, on a besoin de passer au travers d'un courtier pour ça, donc c'est fantastique, j'appelle. Là, il me dit, c'est quoi que vous faites? Je dis, je suis gestionnaire de projet pour ça. Ah, vous travaillez en intelligence artificielle? Ok, vous êtes dans la catégorie IT. Ah, ok, donc tout de suite, le AI est fini dans le IT. Non, l'AI aujourd'hui, c'est de la création de la synergie. C'est de la création, comme le disait Gabriel, c'est mettre quelqu'un qui comprend le domaine médical, mettre quelqu'un qui est capable de coder, on les assoit ensemble et on est capable de créer cette évolution du domaine du travail aujourd'hui. Le mot-clé qui arrive de plus en plus et qu'on voit, et d'autant plus ça arrive à Montréal, et je pense qu'il y a une bonne raison pour ça, ça correspond aussi à la personnalité des gens, c'est la collaboration. Si on est capable de créer ce mouvement de collaboration au sein des compagnies, définitivement ça va fonctionner. Les gens qui vont continuer à travailler en silo, pour reprendre les beaux mots-clés d'il y a 5-10 ans, désolé, et ça ne fonctionnera pas.
So keywords, training, education, adaptation. So we have another question, so please don't be shy. Your name and affiliation, please.
Salut, bonjour.
Bonjour.
My name is Daniel Goldwater. I'm an attorney and managing partner at Goldwater Dubé Law Firm. We're a boutique practice, and we are in a very specific vertical. The legal sea is very vast. Where we are, we're in litigation, and we're in family law litigation. And I'm always on the search for synergies. I find this hallucinant, I have to tell you, what you guys are talking about. The brain power, the experience is compelling and inspiring. That being said, the trouble that I am a millennial. I'm an old millennial, but I'm a millennial. And the trouble that I have is, number one, here are the key problems in this industry, and not to sound grandiose, I'm in the justice business. So it's rather serious. I take it very seriously. We're talking about the social fabric. We're talking about the courts. We're talking about conflicts that everybody in this room has had with their families. And it's our job at our firm to bring that to the courts and come to a reasonable solution. Now, problems I have in the industry, these are wide industry problems, is what the national law firms are also struggling with. Very high attrition rates. Millennials, you could call them disloyal, or you could just call them excited and they want to have meaning. We have the highest attrition rate across all different industries. I think it's now climbed to 45% in the first 3 years. Secondly, the problem that I have is in my vertical, I'm not looking for somebody that is just has the best marks. That's all good, well and good. They have a 3-year degree, okay? It's not a project management degree. They spent a lot of time. And I wanted them to have a hybridity of experience. I don't deal with users. I don't deal with customers. I deal with clients. And I've been using, so if any of you can comment, can help a brother out, and can tell me, how do I find these people? How do I save justice?
Oh,
Thank you,
I
Daniel.
hope I have some answers. I'll give it my best shot. First of all, I don't want to, well, actually, I don't know if I'm going to burst your bubble or make you feel better, but about retention, loyalty, it's finished. It's finished. And it's okay. It's okay because we're creating a new future. And I've seen it in my own company. And, the future with the younger generations, it's going to be a gig economy. So people are going to be working for themselves, and they're going to stick around 1, 2, 3 years max. And if you don't have the next big thing and you're not on top of things to bring, that growth, they're going to leave. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay because you don't want somebody in your company that's outdone its stay, his or her stay. And I actively tell all my employees, you know what, the day this doesn't work for you, you come see me and I'm going to help you get out of here. I'm going to help you connect to that company. And so what I do is I have a 2-tier strategy. So I have my core team, and this core team are people that they believe in the mission, they fit with me, they'll fight, for me, for whatever happens in front of us. And around this core team that I spend a lot of energy motivating and doing very special things that are sometimes not even monetary related. Sometimes the littlest thing can encourage somebody to stick around for another year. I have a ton of examples for that. And around this core, I have another bunch of people that they come in, and sometimes they stay 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, and they rotate. But I've had to modify the way I recruit. I can't be always like, oh, I need to recruit. No, I need to anticipate, to always have my postings bring in new people so that I'm not caught off guard having to recruit. And I onboard people sometimes even if I don't need it. So I always have the new people coming in. And I think the future is in that mobility and letting people explore and saying, you know what, I hope you stay long, and while you're here, we're going to treat you good, and when it doesn't fit, I'll help you go. And again, I think technology is going to connect the world. So today, retention's a big issue because you're like, oh my God, I can't find my employees. It takes me 6 months, a year to find a person. I can't lose her or him after a year. But in tomorrow's world, companies, like us that are working at the problem are gonna find solutions, and you'll be able to connect much easier, and it's really not that far ahead. So for me, again, I'm optimistic on that side of things. Just hang in there, but make sure you're proactive, that you have those jobs, and for inside, the people that you say, those are my core people, those special little things is really imperative to keeping people there. The other thing, traditionally, and again, we accompany companies of all sizes recruit, and really traditionally companies recruited, with this is what I want, this, and here's the perfect candidate, and we would present the 90% good no, that doesn't have the 10%. That doesn't work today, and it's not gonna work tomorrow. And as we're creating these jobs that are not, are like popping up, you're gonna have to look at transferable skills. And when people come in, and we recruit 100% of our positions, sometimes we'll even go as far as recruiting people that have zero experience, but they have the right attitude, they have the right transferable skills, and we make miracles happen sometimes. And sometimes you don't need the big data scientists. Sometimes it's, collection of people that are just outside of what you're looking for. And when you give those people a chance that don't have the perfect file, you create loyalty right there. And those are the people that are gonna stick around. And my employees are solicited every week, and I know that my core team is not gonna leave. And even the non-core team, the people that are either new or that don't know yet, they're gonna ask themselves the question, just because, we are a company that give people a chance when they don't have all the requirements. So again, I think in terms of loyalty, it's done, and it's okay to have new people come help you with your problems. And by shifting, by being proactive, I think you can, get rid of most of your headaches. I hope that helps.
No, your optimism is infectious,
Okay.
but I do want to hear from the dismal scientists here. However,
Yeah.
I want to know how can
For the astrophysics people.
how can big data? I love bots as well as humans. What can they do for law and justice?
So I'll speak as an older millennial to another. So, and this is just my specific experience working with smaller companies, startups, and working with multinationals as well. Sometimes I work with startups, and they're kind of afraid for the talent that they have. Yes, we go and get them through the universities, but sometimes they become very mobile. They'll work at a startup, and they're solicited by Facebook, Google, and they're like, oh, like Google's trying to suck the air out of here. Like, what do I do? How can we do it? And this is just maybe one strategy, or obviously it's only one strategy or one aspect of it, but give people projects, inspire them. I think the millennials are very inspirable. The people, the students that I've matched with companies, if they know that they're, if they feel they're just like in a giant gray cubicle sinking ship, they're not going to stick around. They're going to be like, oh, what am I doing with my life? And I've seen some of them, stay for lower salaries at startups because they felt that they were actually changing something. If you say, well, look, we want to make the life better for families, we're trying to find active solutions rather than just strictly focusing on the business aspect of it or how many clients can we get. If you can find kind of the inspirational aspect of it, I think that's what I've seen. Startups who are in medical, and I mean, I think there's good aspects of it. I've been helping some companies in financial that have like a huge regulatory aspect to it. But if you can find a storyline at the end and saying, there's going to be a positive impact in the world from this, then you can inspire them, I think. I think really the only industry that I've seen is kind of hard to inspire in that way is probably defense, like AI for smarter drones is maybe not that inspiring, maybe for some people, but there's an angle to go get in most industries that I've seen.
Just one last thing to direct it, because this is engaging to me. Then what about?
Certainly.
Sorry, I don't want to hog the mic. I'm a litigator. I talk a lot. I just want to know then, to tell a story. I'm wonderful at storytelling. That's what I get paid to do. And the problem though is that I deal with cynics. My team. At the end of the day, attorneys they have high rates of depression, high rates of anxiety. They are trained to see shit coming miles away. Mm-hmm. And so there's only so much I can do to sing a lullaby to my fellow millennials. And that's where I do need deliverables, I need objective data. And my firm, I do think my firm's a unicorn. I'm very proud of my firm. That said, I search for things. I search for natural language processing insights so that I can detect the solicitor-client relationship. Where is it right now? Is the client sad? Is the lawyer being nasty or insensitive? And can you, if anybody here on the panel can inspire me maybe with a keyword as to something that has disrupted, for obviously a positive change, the legal industry and the services that we provide so that we don't get pushed aside by what's happening in the world.
Yes. So I totally agree with the human part that we have been talking about, especially interesting projects. And another thing is listen to people, make them feel important. All this is true. Now, in terms of how AI can help in human resources and in particular to keep people engaged. So, well, one thing is if the job that certain part of your employees do is very monotonous, repetitive, implied read a lot of documents, maybe you can make some part of it automatic. For example, you can use, imagine part of your job is reading the 100 pages around a case, and what is important for you is get dates and names. So you can use, for example, name entity recognition. That is a technique within natural language processing that allows you to extract that information, and that employee maybe can dedicate more of his time for other things. You can also do key phrase extraction to extract what are the most important phrases. So what I mean is that if part of this job that you are saying is a part of the job that is making it more like monotonous, boring, at some point depressing, maybe you can modify that with AI. The other thing that you can do is try to find ways to measure with AI how happy is your employee and how to predict when the employee wants to leave. Now, for that, probably you need data. So you're going to need to be capturing data for some time, and will depend also the size of your firm. But I read an article of a company, in fact, that they dedicate their time to do that. So they get data from companies and employees, maybe in at what time they arrive every day, how they dress, if they go to eat at the kitchen or not, and they are getting all that. And when people leave, that they mark that, okay, this person quit. So and after getting enough data, you can train a system that maybe is able to predict when an employee is about 3 months to quit. And in that case, you can start taking measures to solve it. So, but for this, the key part here is that you need first to get a significant amount of data that is going to allow us to train that system. And in fact, I read one article of a company, it's a recruiting company, that they were using that in the opposite way. They were analyzing social media feeds from people, from employees, but not their employees, from other employees, to find when they start to be bored, even if they don't write that in their social media feed. They say maybe the frequency, they analyze, the AI analyze patterns, and found maybe that when people start writing more frequently in your social media, that means that you start being less happy with your job or something. So they were doing that, and when they found people that seems bored at their job, they poached them. So they were like the bad guys. I'm not saying you to do that.
Look how Daniel is taking notes.
C'est sûr qu'un des points que vous allez avoir le plus de mal à avoir, c'est les données de ressources humaines. Donc, savoir quand est-ce que les personnes sont, par exemple, rentrées au travail, le matin, le soir, les horaires, est-ce qu'elles sont bien, le feedback qu'elles vont donner par rapport aux conseillers ou aux ressources humaines, c'est des données qui sont très, très difficiles à avoir, notamment parce que les ressources humaines ne veulent pas les libérer. Et en quantité, de façon assez, je ne vais pas dire monstrueuse, mais grosse, de façon à ce que vous puissiez entraîner des modèles. Ça, c'est définitivement des choses qui sont très très dures à obtenir aujourd'hui. J'ai une compagnie avec laquelle je travaillais qui s'appelle Ngouvou. Leur objectif, c'était de travailler avec des centres d'appel et justement de faire de la rétention d'employés dans les centres d'appel. On s'entend que si ça tourne chez vous, chez eux, ça tourne encore pire. Et c'était un des problèmes, ils étaient arrivés où ils étaient en train de transformer tout leur logiciel à faire de la gamification pour rendre ça plus attractif. Mais à côté de ça, les ressources humaines ne voulaient pas libérer les données des employés, à savoir même rien que leur âge, pour savoir à peu près, OK, on sait que telle personne, elle quitte, mais est-ce que ça fait partie des millénials, ou est-ce que c'était plus vieux, ou ainsi de suite? Est-ce que cette personne, elle fait ça comme job étudiante, ou est-ce qu'elle fait ça job à temps plein? Ce genre de données-là, ils n'arrivaient pas à y avoir accès. Donc ça va être une des grosses contraintes que vous allez voir. À côté de ça, pour faire de la pub, encore une fois pour Ivado, désolé, fin novembre, donc on n'y est pas encore, mais bientôt, on a une école sur l'apprentissage du NLP, donc Natural Language Processing, donc tout ce qui est justement la compréhension des émotions qui peuvent passer au travers des chatbots et autres, la compréhension du langage en tant que tel. Ça peut être très intéressant si vous justement pensez que vous pouvez avoir le niveau pour comprendre qu'est-ce qui se fait. Je vais revenir au niveau des cas des centres d'appel. Il y a énormément de travail qui se fait aujourd'hui justement pour comprendre quand les personnes elles appellent au téléphone, par exemple les lignes de suicide action et tout ça, est-ce qu'elles sont vraiment sur le point de se suicider ou est-ce qu'il y a encore une marge? Ce genre de choses-là, aujourd'hui, on est en train d'essayer de le mesurer avec de l'AI. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il n'y a pas tant de répondants au téléphone. Donc autant mettre les répondants là où c'est vraiment pertinent, vraiment urgent, et on est capable de mettre par exemple une machine pour faire patienter les autres en attendant que quelqu'un se libère. Ou par exemple, on sait que dans les centres d'appel, il y a des personnes qui sont plus à même de répondre à des situations de stress, d'anxiété. Là, je ne parle pas forcément du suicide, mais tout simplement, ça fait la 5e fois que j'appelle Hydro-Québec parce que j'ai plus d'électricité, il commence à faire très froid chez moi et ainsi de suite, je ne suis pas contente. Le système est capable de le comprendre dans ma voix que je ne suis pas contente, mais si l'employé, c'est la 25e personne dans la journée qui l'appelle pour dire « je ne suis pas contente », peut-être que lui, il n'est pas capable de gérer justement cette zone de stress-là, et peut-être qu'il y a un autre employé qui est plus à même, qui a plus les compétences pour justement gérer ce stress-là. Ça, il y a définitivement des choses qu'on peut apprendre au système, puis orienter les appels en fonction de ça pour gérer l'anxiété. Donc il y aurait aussi des possibilités là, pas forcément centre d'appel, mais plus par rapport à la gestion de l'anxiété au travail.
If I can just add something to that. I mean, you said it's an industry-wide problem that you guys are facing, right? And I mean, and I'm not familiar with you guys, but regardless of the size of your company, and again, I'm preaching for MyTax. You can totally engage academics who are experts in this field. So we're doing projects right now in artificial intelligence and psychology, organizational behavior, that are linking both of them. I mean, from the perception of a user of a chatbot to really directly going inside the company. There was a point raised by Karolina on the data. One of the reasons MyTax has been used a lot is because we allow for the researcher to go work directly with the company, and this has become especially useful for companies that do not want or cannot release the data. Sometimes they get them from other people, from their customers, and they cannot just simply hand them over. So there are ways. I mean, if you say, you know what, like I really want to crack this problem and I want to become a leader at it, there are ways to approach that, and you can come and see me after.
I already have an IRAP officer actually for an AI startup I'm on, but on this topic actually. But.
Mon seul commentaire par rapport aux millénials, puis c'est mon dernier point, je pense qu'on passera à autre chose. Moi, je pense que je rentre dans la catégorie, même si j'aime pas spécialement ça, je suis désolée des millénials. Mais pour avoir changé 2 fois de travail en 2 ans, je rentre finalement dans cette catégorie-là. J'ai pas quitté Ivado parce que j'aimais pas ça, au contraire, j'adorais mon travail là-bas. La nouvelle opportunité que j'ai vue là, c'est juste que je pouvais avoir plus d'impact. Donc définitivement montrer aux gens qui peuvent avoir un impact dans leur travail, ils font leur travail de façon vraiment beaucoup plus volontaire. Et puis j'en parlais à Gwenaëlle tantôt, mais même si je dors pas la nuit, même si je dormais pas non plus avant la nuit parce que je suis complètement motivée et sur l'adrénaline tout le temps, le point est, je sais que je vais pouvoir avoir un impact.
Such an exciting topic. So more questions. That's awesome.
Yes. Gwenaëlle Thibault, je suis une collègue de Caroline chez Montréal International. J'ai une question qui porte sur la confiance. Je me questionne, les clients qui utilisent les solutions AI, qui utilisent le deep learning, qui ne voient pas les data derrière, l'algorithme, tout ça, comment vous assurez qu'ils ont confiance en l'outil que vous leur donnez, puis comment faire pour qu'ils l'utilisent puis qu'ils l'optimisent?
Ouais, expérience personnelle avec les nombreuses compagnies de différentes tailles avec qui on travaille. Les compagnies ne questionnent pas encore beaucoup. Des fois, dans une organisation, il y a quelqu'un vraiment de plus instruit dans le domaine ou plus habitué, plus expérimenté. qui vont poser des questions, mais jamais très, très poussées. C'est pour ça que dans beaucoup de conférences que je fais, je mets l'enjeu devant, hey, les données, là, c'est qui les programme, comment qu'on fait en arrière pour amener cet enjeu-là sur la table, parce qu'on est tellement d'entreprises qui travaillent des enjeux importants, il faut qu'on se pose la question. Mais pour le moment, les entreprises, dans mon expérience à moi, ils ne sont pas rendus là, ils sont plus en mode « Oh mon Dieu, il faut comme j'ai une gestion de changement, il faut que je m'habitue. » Puis souvent, parce que nous, en recrutement, on a des fonctionnalités très, très de base puis très, très poussées. Puis il faut vraiment accompagner nos entreprises à utiliser les fonctionnalités un petit peu plus complexes, justement parce que c'est ça, la compréhension de ça n'est pas rendue là. Mais encore une fois, je pense que tout va changer dans les prochaines années à venir à ce niveau-là.
Oui, Karolina.
Yes, so this is a very important topic in artificial intelligence, and in fact, AI ethics is one of the topics that we have been discussing in the community for a long time. And when we talk about ethics, we talk about how fair is the result of this algorithm. Is the data that we use biased in some way, as you were explaining at the beginning? Who is accountable for the decision that this algorithm takes? And this can be the full discussion of a complete different panel. How is the governability? The privacy, how is the privacy treat in AI? Because before, maybe when you decide to anonymize data, you say, I'm going to remove first name, last name, phone number. But right now, anonymization of the data, that's not enough, because you can be taking data sources from different places and reconstruct information that was not visible at the beginning. So those are important things, and we have been following discussions with Canadian government about that. The Canadian government is preparing something that is called the Algorithmic Impact Assessment. It's basically a form that allows you to decide what is the risk level of your algorithm. And the levels go 1 to 4. If the level is 1, means that it's an algorithm that will not impact the human being. So I'm not going to be very worried if my data is super biased or not. But as the level increases, means that can be more impactful for the human or a sentient being, not necessarily a human, can be an animal too. So, and in that case, you need to do other things. Do other things like do a statistical analysis of your data to make sure that there is no bias. You, in some cases, when you are in the higher levels, you should make sure that your algorithm is explainable in some way, that you are able to explain why the algorithm is taking those decisions. Since peer review of the algorithms might be necessary at some point. So there are measures that you can take. So far, the regulators hasn't done anything mandatory, but this is coming. I think in the next couple of years, the law is going to follow, and everybody's going to need to be on that.
Karolina.
Il faut revenir à la base qui est le machine learning. Comme le disait Joël tantôt, ce sont des probabilités. On parle de 85%, de 90%, dans les meilleurs des cas 94%, peut-être des fois même 99%, mais on n'est jamais capable d'arriver au 100%. Donc comment est-ce qu'on est capable d'expliquer ce que les fameuses boîtes noires, comme on utilise beaucoup, font? Ça, il y a énormément de projets de recherche qui se passent là-dessus et qui travaillent. Il y en a un magnifique en ce moment qui est en train d'arriver dans le domaine de l'aéronautique, entre des compagnies françaises et des compagnies canadiennes, pour justement essayer de comprendre qu'est-ce qui se passe dans ces systèmes-là. Pourquoi? Parce que le monde de l'aéronautique, on est déterministique. On sait quand on a une entrée, c'est quoi la sortie. Aujourd'hui, avec l'intelligence artificielle, dire qu'il va y avoir de l'AI dans les avions, la plupart des personnes, elles capotent parce qu'elles ne sont pas capables de dire « mais l'avion, dans 15% des cas, il va faire quoi ?» Donc, ce genre de choses-là, on veut être capable de l'expliquer, et c'est pour ça que gagner la confiance définitivement des utilisateurs en mettant de l'intelligence artificielle, il faut se poser des bonnes questions. Et ce que mentionnait donc Karolina, le fameux Algo Impact Assessment que le gouvernement fédéral est en train de mettre en place, c'est des tables rondes qui sont très intéressantes où ils vont chercher à avoir des industriels, des chercheurs, mais aussi des citoyens pour commencer à poser les bonnes questions qu'eux doivent se poser quand ils commencent justement à prendre des logiciels d'AI pour mettre au sein du gouvernement. Donc ces discussions-là sont en cours en ce moment, puis c'est passionnant de voir justement comment est-ce qu'ils définissent leur niveau 1 à 4 et comment est-ce qu'on peut avoir un impact par rapport à ça. Donc si ça vous intéresse, définitivement allez sur le site du gouvernement canadien, puis il y a la possibilité de participer.
C'est bon.
Je veux juste dire rapidement, c'est un exemple concret, ça, de création d'emplois. Donc, des gens spécialisés dans l'éthique appliquée à l'intelligence artificielle, il n'y en a pas aujourd'hui. Et c'est certain qu'il va y avoir des milliers de postes qui vont s'ouvrir dans le domaine. Est-ce que c'est quelque chose qu'on aurait pu anticiper? Pas vraiment. Peut-être des scientifiques un petit peu plus proches de la technologie l'ont vu venir avant, mais c'est un parfait exemple.
S'il vous plaît.
So I see we're pretty tight on time, getting close, but I did want to add some perspective here because I think after hearing all this, I have a bit of a unique perspective that can touch on a lot of what's been going on here. I come here as an American who owns an international company, who is an opera singer, who was an academic, the director of international MBA program, who about 20 years ago I did my graduate work on a Smith Corona typewriter. And I transitioned into the world of the iPhone, which is in my pocket, which needs to be updated because I have an older version. But I come here really with a perspective specifically to Julie's point of retention and loyalty in an organization, because I can speak firsthand of that. During the 1970s, I created for the AT&T company the Success for Loyalty program for their worldwide operations. So some of you that may go to a dealership or to a store and they give you a survey and it says score the survey 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. That's all based on a Harvard Business Review program that I helped develop in the 1970s that gave a rating system. So if you give a consistent number 5, they all want the highest rating so that gives the loyalty factor that you're talking about here. And that was developed by AT&T back in the late 70s and early 80s, and I was part of that project. Took that work from there and became the lead consultant to the Coca-Cola worldwide operations back in the 1990s, late 80s, early 90s, where I created their leadership effectiveness program for senior level management. Ran that program for 4 years. One of the issues that came up for the company, both companies, AT&T and Coca-Cola, was retaining the highest and best talent in the world. And how do you retain the highest and best talent in the world when you have intercultural management issues and intergenerational issues in a world that is changing before your eyes? And I'm now in my 60s, and I have an interesting perspective on that because I have actually worked in these industries to help create these changes. I never thought in my life that I would own today a big data analytics company because I didn't even know what big data analytics was 15 years ago. But now I'm speaking your language and I'm here at a conference basically because that's the way the world has changed. What I wanted to share with you, going back to this topic, is that retention of employees has to involve both the passion of the organization and the commitment of the employee to a better way forward for themselves. They have to see a better way forward. And today, if you look at what's going on in academia and in education, MBA programs throughout the world are not doing what they used to do. They're dropping in enrollment. But entrepreneurial schools are emerging throughout the world. And the reason why that's happening is because there's a need for creating this entrepreneurship. And that's why business schools are all putting their energy into entrepreneurial schools versus MBA programs. MBA programs are not the future. Look at Wharton, look at MIT. They're all, even Harvard, all of their enrollments are down. So going back to the retention issue, creating success through loyalty means creating an entrepreneurial environment for the employee within the corporate environment to let them grow and do their finest and best work. In summary, that, I think, could be the solution going forward for the next generation.
Thank you for your comment. So I would also add to that final comment, that is the career development of your employees. So that's what you also said, is give them wings in your company. So help them develop their career inside the company, but also probably in the next job, actually. So thank you. I was told that we have another 10 minutes, so I would like to maybe, do you have a pressing question? No? Okay.
Can I just
That's
add a small comment?
Stick around. I mean, there is wine after, and we can chat about it. But je suis très curieux. Julie, est-ce que
I just have another optimistic comment because that's what I do.
we will stay all day and all day
Yeah,
now
exactly.
here.
It's the future is a combination of amazing things that can be brought by technology who solves issues. But loyalty, yes, you can have intelligent apps, but the core of retention and loyalty is going to be thought up by human brains. It's about, taking time to look, internally, okay, I have an issue. The machine's not going to think of what to go solve. And that's why the future is going to be created by machines doing the really boring stuff, the stuff that we're not pushed to being our better selves to do, so that we have more time to focus our creativity. And creativity, unless it's like 100 years down the road, cannot be replaced in not a foreseeable future. And that's where I think, the future lies, in that combination of both the machine working at the service and with humanity.
Merci, Julie.
J'ai une métaphore d'un chercheur, je ne suis pas sûre à quel point elle s'applique là-dedans, mais je l'ai en tête, qui est le machine learning, même le deep learning, va toujours savoir être capable de reconnaître c'est quoi une pomme. Mais jamais le machine learning ou le deep learning va se poser la question qu'est-ce que la pomme goûte. Donc c'est vraiment ce côté humain qu'on garde et qu'on va garder et qui va nous permettre d'évoluer, puis en se servant de l'AI en tant qu'outil pour pouvoir l'appliquer. Et puis j'ai un espoir et de pouvoir garder le monde de demain meilleur.
Nous avons touché brièvement le sujet d'éthique dans le domaine de l'intelligence artificielle. Donc je me pose la question, pourquoi Montréal, le Québec ou le Canada s'élancent dans une organisation mondiale en intelligence artificielle? Est-ce que, Caroline, tu peux nous dire qu'est-ce que va faire cet organisme et pourquoi? On entend bien évidemment dans les nouvelles que Montréal est devenu un powerhouse of l'intelligence artificielle. Mais qu'est-ce que ça veut dire, ça, une organisation mondiale d'intelligence artificielle?
Pour répondre à la deuxième question, première parce qu'elle est plus facile, on parle worldwide de d'environ 2000 ressources qui sont spécialisées en intelligence artificielle. Et l'une des raisons pour lesquelles on parle beaucoup de Montréal en ce moment, c'est parce qu'au niveau de la recherche, on est très bien positionné pour ça, dans le sens qu'on produit beaucoup de chercheurs. Donc c'est une des raisons pour lesquelles dans la presse, on se retrouve beaucoup à être de l'avant par rapport à ça. Après ça, moi, je vois une grosse différence entre faire de la recherche et être capable de l'appliquer. On voit qu'aux États-Unis, ils sont très très bons à l'appliquer, à faire du marketing autour de leurs produits. Donc c'est là que définitivement, c'est une des raisons pour lesquelles on parle beaucoup plus de la Silicon Valley, qu'on parle de Montréal comme une Silicon Valley. Donc il y a quand même un équilibre à trouver par rapport à ça. La bonne nouvelle, c'est que la fuite des cerveaux, elle est de plus en plus limitée, dans le sens que les gens, maintenant, ils ont compris que c'est bien d'aller à San Francisco pour avoir des salaires à 300, 400, 500 000 $, mais par contre, si on doit à la fin partager une chambre à 5 parce qu'on n'a pas les moyens de se payer un loyer, parce que c'est le cas à San Francisco, ou même aller à San Francisco, personnellement, moi, j'étais traumatisée l'année dernière. À 7h du soir, mon chum, et pourtant, on n'est pas des gens trouillards ou foussards, me disait, on est en vélo, on ne s'arrête pas. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il y a vraiment un clash de population, il y a des sans-abri partout, et définitivement, il y a les gens qui ont les moyens de se payer un logement, puis il y a les autres. Et ça, c'est une grosse partie de la population. Donc, c'est bien San Francisco, c'est la Silicon Valley, mais l'image vraiment derrière est vraiment très, très apeurante. Pour en revenir par rapport au sujet, pourquoi Montréal? En fait, c'est une belle question que je me suis également posée. J'espère avoir trouvé la réponse. L'idée, c'est que Montréal a commencé en fait très tôt à se poser des questions par rapport à justement l'éthique et la responsabilité qu'on pouvait avoir par rapport au projet d'intelligence artificielle. Et d'autres villes ont suivi. Donc on parle beaucoup par exemple de New York avec AI Now, on parle de Paris par exemple avec le rapport Villani. Donc c'est vraiment, il y a beaucoup de villes qui se sont intéressées ou de pays, même les UK, la Finlande, la Norvège, le Japon, même la Chine a commencé à sortir des rapports là-dessus. C'est très très intéressant. Par contre, sortir un rapport et mettre en application, faire des recommandations au gouvernement, il y a vraiment une étape entre les deux. Et de par mes voyages en fait des dernières semaines, on s'est rendu compte d'une chose, c'est que autant Montréal fait des rapports, oui, on a fait des rapports, on a fait des recommandations, on a fait des beaux papiers pour expliquer c'est quoi l'intelligence artificielle et l'impact que ça va avoir sur le monde de demain, on ne s'arrête pas là. Et ça, on sait que par exemple à Paris, les Parisiens sont venus me voir en disant « Nous, on a un beau rapport de 250 pages, what's next ?» On ne sait pas quelles sont les prochaines étapes, on ne sait pas ce qui se passe, on ne sait pas ce que le gouvernement va faire. Nous, on sait que le 3 décembre, je ne sais pas si c'est sold out, mais si ça ne l'est pas, je vous conseille de vous inscrire, la déclaration de AI de responsable de Montréal, en fait, va faire des recommandations au gouvernement pour pouvoir justement commencer à définir des normes ou des lois, des cadres normatifs de façon à pouvoir mettre en place différents systèmes pour le développement responsable de l'intelligence artificielle. Donc c'est vraiment ce genre de questions-là qu'on est plus à même, et je pense que le fait justement qu'on collabore, qu'on discute, qu'on ait ce mix de citoyens, de chercheurs et d'industriels, tout le monde qui se regroupe, c'est vraiment une volonté commune. Et juste pour vous donner un exemple qui est c'est vraiment très édifiant, à Montréal, quand on organise des journées de co-construction, je pense qu'ils en ont fait à peu près une dizaine avec l'Université de Montréal, à Québec, même à Ottawa. Il y a à peu près 150 personnes qui s'inscrivent à chaque fois pour ce genre d'événement-là, puis à chaque fois c'est sold out, mais on arrive quand même à faire rentrer le monde, puis à avoir l'opinion de chacun. Il y a des cafés qui sont organisés, il y a beaucoup d'activités par rapport à ça. À Paris, on a fait cette même organisation avec exactement les mêmes types de réseaux sociaux et tout ça. Il y avait 30 personnes dans la salle. Donc définitivement, il n'y a pas le même type d'engouement par rapport à ces questions éthiques, par rapport à quels sont les impacts qu'on va avoir sur le monde de demain en fonction des différentes cultures qu'on peut avoir. Donc je pense que c'est pour ça que Montréal peut définitivement aider en devenant ce pôle de l'intelligence artificielle, parce qu'on a une grosse partie des chercheurs, on a beaucoup d'industries internationales qui sont ici, et puis définitivement, on peut avoir le côté citoyen qui se sent engagé.
Nous sommes vraiment chanceux de vivre ici, hein, n'est-ce pas? Is there any questions about ethics or why Montreal or Canada is launching this global organization? Okay, so I will just say that it's been a pleasure being here, despite the fact that I've been standing for 90 minutes. But it's been amazing. I thank you all for your engagement, and I would like you to share with me a big thank you and congratulating this magnificent panel. And I will stick around if you have more questions. Thank you again.